How's it going with you?
Good, man. We're fucking practicing a lot, putting in long days over here in Germany, getting ready for the tour.
So we got Jon Schaffer here from Öyster, and you guys are going on tour anytime. And how far is this tour gonna bring you?
Well, we're doing about 50 shows in 27 countries up until right before Christmas, starting Sunday. And then we'll take a short break, and then North America is late January, South America, India, China, Thailand, Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. So we're hitting all of Asia, that area. And, and then we'll be back doing more legs in the States and Europe, hopefully as a support act, and doing some festivals and that kind of stuff next year. So
when you look at it, that should be a big accomplishment, going 27 countries in that short time.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore, man. There's not many days off. I mean, it's just the thing is, days off cost money. You have all the expenses but no income, so we have to try to work as much as we can when we're on tour. And so yeah, it's a pretty intense schedule. I think we've only got like 7 days off over the next few months.
Now, this new album, the sound quality, would you say it's recorded in the same methods as you guys always used to do it? Certainly for guitars.
As far as guitars go, yeah, the biggest difference was I cleaned up my tone quite a bit compared to the last several albums. I mean, everything from Horror Show on has had more gain on it, and I focused, I guess, from an overall tone. It just seemed to work with the goals that we were shooting for, from the bass and the drums and rhythm guitars. The way they work together it's a really punchy and tight and focused, and that's kind of what I was looking for.
And what type of amplifiers are you using in this recording?
The same ones I've been using since the Burnt Offerings album, which is it's a signature head that's made by a boutique builder over here in Germany. His name's Larry Groman, and Larry Amps is what his company's called. And I've been playing them forever, and I've got a signature preamp on the market now that I use for fly dates, like when we fly to South America, or when we go to Russia and stuff later here in the next month and a half. It's just easier than taking your full head and everything on those kind of shows. So I take my my preamp, and then we use a Marshall as for the power section. But my signature head should be out next year, and it's expensive stuff because it's all hand built, amazing. It's all like point to point wiring, super tight stuff. But we spent quite a bit of time through the years dialing it in just the way I want it. And like I said, I've been playing this stuff since the first recorded release from the Larry Amps was Burnt Offerings. And the sound's developed a lot since then, but a lot of that comes from the miking techniques we use too. So
would you say like amps in itself has gone a long way, with technology?
I guess so, but for me, I mean, I'm a pretty bare bones kind of a guy, and I don't really, it's a very simple amp. It's just really well built, It's not, there's not a lot of bells and whistles in my rig. I mean, typically live, I just use a chorus pedal and a channel switcher to go between the clean and the dirty. That's it. And so it's not, and as far as the head goes, I mean, it's a very basic head. I guess it's somewhat of a complex circuit, but with a guy like Larry, who's kind of a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff, I mean, I don't know anybody else that could have been able to really dial in my sound like Larry has, because I have a really specific rhythm guitar style, and you need an amp that responds really quick but still has that gung, that low end, that thump that you can feel even if you're doing triplets at 230 beats a minute. It's that kind of a thing where, and that's what I was looking for. He recognized that when he heard the first couple albums, and he contacted me, actually got in touch with me through More Sound Recording Studios. And they called me at home and said, "Hey, there's this guy over in Germany that wants to build an amp for you. He heard your album on the radio, and he's kind of freaking out a little bit." So that's how we met each other. And he just, I think he knew when he heard the first couple albums that he could give me what it was I was searching for. Because back then I was playing through a Marshall Jubilee Series amp.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I recorded the first 2 albums with, and a Les Paul. I mean, I'm a Gibson guy, so my rig is my Larry amp, and I have a stable of Les Pauls and some Explorers and stuff, and that's my rig.
We should never forget, your work on Night of the Stormrider. How that guitar tone exists. It's very precise.
It is, but I'll tell you, it was compared to. I think it's more the playing that, rather than the tone that is. I mean, it's a Marshall. If I would have had my Larry amp then, I think the sound would have been like way better, actually. I mean, the production on that's a little rough on the original Night of Stormrider, but dude, it was a second album. I mean, you know how it is with bands. Those first few albums, you're just trying to figure out who you really are. You're developing as a songwriters. You're learning in the studio. Your budgets get a little bit bigger. I mean, the first album we did for like $7,000, and it sounds like shit. And Stormrider, I think, was for $14,000 or $15,000, and it sounds better. But the band was getting more experienced. I was getting more experienced, and so there's a lot of factors involved.
And this new album, how do we pronounce that title? The name of it, Dystopia.
Yes, Dystopia.
Now this artwork, very clean artwork yet on this. Who designed this?
It's the same guys that did the last 2 album covers were the artists. I mean, it was my concept, and but we have Nathan Perry, who's done tattoo. He's a tattoo artist. He's done some tattoos on me. He did Framing Armageddon and The Crucible of Man. He did the covers for those. He did the pencils. And then Felipe Machado Franco, who's from down in Colombia, South America, did the colors. So it's a team, it's just like a comic book style artwork. Usually you have 2 or 3 artists involved.
In the near future, we're going to see another DVD.
I expect to try. Our goal is to do one after the next studio album with Stu on vocals, so that we have some new material for the DVD, and then yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the day when we can do a proper live DVD. I mean, a proper DVD of an actual Öyster headline show. Festivals of the Wicked is cool, but it's festivals, and we don't have, when you do festivals, even if you're headlining, you don't have that much control over everything that's going to happen. And, given doing a specific Öyster headline show, then, it's our stage show. We can even make sure that it's our film crew. The whole thing can be planned better, and I think it can be edited better. And Festivals of the Wicked is cool, but the DVD that I want to release, we haven't done that yet, but it's coming. But it won't be after this studio album. I think it's going to make more sense to do it after the next one.
You guys are going to keep on the trend of making an album like not far apart?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, actually, since our last release was 2008, so it's not like this came quickly. But yeah, I expect, just because of the way things in general are going in the music business, that the days of waiting, 2.5, 3 years between records are probably over. So the band just has to stay. We have to stay busy now. I mean, so the records themselves, at least the sales of the records, are becoming such a small part of the whole situation with the band, the business situation, that bands have to tour a lot more than they used to,
right,
in order to make up for the income that's lost, because you used to be able to rely on record sales, publishing. You had another income stream, and that's sort of going away.
In general, that's probably how it's going to be with most bands coming out. Let's say brand new bands right now, they're going to be seeing this. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, really, man, because I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. Like for the big guys, like Metallica and Maiden and those guys, it's definitely not as hard for them. For the mid-level bands like us, it's a very difficult time, and I can't even imagine what it would like to be a baby band right now. To be, a young teenage kid that's really hungry for this. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be stepping into in the next few years. I don't know. I don't know where this industry is going. I mean, it's going down the shitter, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, it may be better for the artists, but I think you're going to see a lot of record companies going bankrupt. You're going to see major, we've already seen major retail stores go bankrupt, go out of business. We're seeing distributors in trouble, and So things are changing rapidly. At the end of the day, it may be better for the artists. I hope so. I hope that there's enough of an honest fan base that will buy the music and do it directly from the artists. And if that happens, even if record sales diminish a lot, if the artists are getting the bulk of the percentage, then it's going to be better. But for baby bands, man, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know where all this is headed.
Now, John, you guys, when you're on the road, do you write songs on the road together, in a way?
No, we haven't. We never have done that, actually. It's more of for me, being the principal songwriter, I kind of tend to get into my head better when I am away from this, like take a little break after the touring cycle's done and then really get focused on it. But, I mean, anything is possible. This is definitely the best lineup, or certainly one of the best lineups in the history of the band. We've had a lot of good ones, but the chemistry is really great. Got a great group of guys here, and you never know.
And also, how do you keep busy on tour? I'm sure the schedule's quite hectic from when you wake up to when you hit the stage.
Yeah, it's really, for me, my unfortunately I get stuck doing a lot of interviews. So to do a lot of press, and there's always the discussions with management and the label and the publicist and that kind of shit. But I mean, it's my goal on this tour is really to sort of unplug from that stuff as much as possible, and to exercise on tour and sort of stay busy during the day doing things that I enjoy to do, and then do the show, and then we have the meet and greets afterwards. So I mean, I've talked to my manager. I kind of want the workload to be spread out a little more so that I can enjoy myself on tour and take care of myself a little better.
Because when you look at it in this way, it's more like you're doing tons of work and just, that hour and a half on stage compared to, the whole day doing press and, publicist work, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tiring, I mean, the whole tour, the whole being on the road is tiring. It's just hard to get rest. You're constantly traveling. You're in a different city every night. You're living in a bus. I'm not complaining about it. This is the path I chose, man, and it's cool. It's just, it is tiring, and it doesn't really get easier the older you get. I mean, I guess if you're the Rolling Stones and you can, you got first class everything everywhere, that's a whole different scenario. But when you're iced earth slugging it out in the trenches, it's a tiring thing, but it's a lot of fun, and it's really fun when you have a great group of guys together like we do. So.
Well, John, I hope you have a great tour in November, and look forward to seeing a new DVD in the future.
I appreciate it, man. Where are you from?
Nova Scotia, Canada.
Okay. Well, the dates are going to be announced soon for Canada. I'm not sure exactly where all we're going to be, but I think, our new singer is Canadian, and I think we're doing like 7 or 8 shows in Canada on this North American leg, which is going to start at the end of January. So maybe we'll get to your area.
Very cool, very cool. Öyster, always welcomed in Canada.
Cool, man. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, well, you have a good one, and talk later.
All right, you too, man. Take care.